Hey, what's going on, movie fans all over the world? You already know who it is. It's your favorite internet sweaty, your boy at Mikey Savage 21, bringing you another movie review. And today we're going to be looking at the 2017 black comedy film directed by Patrick Hughes, known as The Hitman's Bodyguard, which stars Ryan Reynolds, Samuel L. Jackson, Gary Oldman, and Salma Hayek. And this basically is about a bodyguard who is hired to protect a hitman who has to testify at the international court. And if you want to get a little bit more into it, again, you have the world's top protection agency played by Ryan Reynolds. He's called upon to guard the life of his mortal enemy, one of the world's most notorious hitman, Samuel Jackson, respectively. And during their journey from England to the Hague, they encounter a multitude of problems, including a high-speed car chase, daring boat escapes, and at the same time, they are running from the merciless dictator who is out for blood. Alright, so that basically is The Hitman's Bodyguard in a nutshell. Basically, what I would say about this film, given my quick little thoughts on it, I would say it's an above average comedy film. This is one of those comedy films that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, kind of like with your Superbad or your 40-Year-Old Virgin, where you have lines like that could be remembered from time after time after time, and even when decades go by, you still remember like those funny lines. This had really good funny moments in it, and there were some good funny lines in this. The script was airtight and it was funny, but again, it's nothing that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. Now again, the film is subjective. You might feel a different way, but I know for me personally, The Hitman's Bodyguard, I remember a few jokes. I remember that Samuel Jackson's whole bit is that he likes to say MF with every single word. Ryan Reynolds is basically doing what Ryan Reynolds does in most movies now. He's doing his whole Deadpool bit thing, and I think he's been doing that ever since he was first in the original, I don't remember. It escapes me. I'm not going to bother to look for it. But he's basically been doing that ever since. And I think ever since Deadpool came out, him doing that is just nothing new anymore. I mean, he does basically the same shtick over and over again, but that's fine because that's what we come to love. Gary Oldman, you know, is doing Gary Oldman things. I mean, it was good to see him in this movie again. He's playing the ruthless dictator here. What I liked about his character was, again, as wild and zany as his character was, they made his character seem very threatening and very scary. Kind of like Kim Jong-un in a way, from The Interview, I should say. The way they had it set up, he was our main protagonist here basically, and he was funny at times because he did have some funny moments. But this dude did not play. This dude was like seriously scary. And I thought that Patrick Hughes was able to bring out the scariness in Gary Oldman. Salma Hayek, I hate to say it, she's just basically here to be here. She does have a few lines here and there. She is basically playing Samuel Jackson's love interest from what you can see in the trailer. And she's in the film, and you know, she does what Salma Hayek does. Again, she's a beautiful woman to look at, and I see why they put her in this film. But other than that, there's really not much else to say about this film. Again, I thought it was an above average comedy film. Again, the script was airtight. I thought the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson was hilarious and really funny. Makes me almost kind of want to see like a Deadpool and maybe a Nick Fury spinoff one day, see how Nick Fury would react to Deadpool and his zany personality and then the wackiness that he ultimately basically brings to this role. But again, like I said, it's a good film. It's a solid comedy film. I will stress that enough. This is a good solid comedy film, and I do recommend you check it out. But I'm not saying you have to run out to theaters to see this. This isn't something like The Big Sick where you definitely need to run out to theaters to see this movie. If you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. But again, those are my thoughts on The Hitman's Bodyguard. Again, in terms of negatives, like I said, I guess the only thing with me is the little shtick with Samuel Jackson got a little old with the whole saying MF all the time. Ryan Reynolds is basically monologuing personality. Got a little old after a while because especially when you've seen him in Deadpool and other recent films, he's basically doing the same thing over and over again, and that gets old. That's really all I really have to say about the film. Again, it looked beautiful. It was well shot. I'll give Patrick Hughes that. I thought he did a really good job. The overall shots look very beautiful of Europe. But in terms of a score, I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Again, I think it's an above average film. I do think it is worth checking out, but not something that you need to rush out to the theaters and see. If I had to make a good comic book comparison to this, I would say this is maybe like Deadpool's little brother. And yes, I know in the comic books, Deadpool doesn't have a little brother, but we're going to pretend that he does. I would say this movie is the equivalent of Deadpool's little brother, a smaller version of Nick Fury, basically. And like I said, basically, I felt like if Deadpool is up here, like the actual character of Deadpool, and we're talking about Deadpool's little brother, I think Deadpool's little brother would be right about here. Samuel L. Jackson is Samuel L. Jackson, so he could, you know, go right here or up here, depending on what film you're looking at. But for me, I felt like, again, this film was good, but above average. I can't stress that enough. It was an above average comedy. But guys, what do you think of The Hitman's Bodyguard? Do you plan to go check this out in theaters? Have you already seen the film? What did you think of The Hitman's Bodyguard? I know I'm behind, and the movie has been out and it's been tearing up in the box office as #1, so that's some credit to the film. Again, it's already grossed over 101 million worldwide, and it had a measly small budget of 30 million. So, you know, I can say that Lionsgate has a good film on their hands, and you never know, it might continue to keep slowly dropping each week and keep bringing in more and more of these little small increments of money. But what did you think of the movie? Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, thank you so much for checking out the video. As always, like I mentioned in my last video, if you want to support me on Patreon, you can go follow me on the link down in the description below. It's also pulled up on the screen. You don't have to, but if you really call this channel home and you really want to donate back, it would be much appreciated. Other than that, that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and as I always say, remember to become a savage, stay a savage, and peace out, y'all. Later.